ready to dive in and see how this is going to go, because coming into this, I've talked to a lot of players. How do you think this matchup is going to fare? How do you think that Koi have gotten things together? And everyone's saying that they look incredibly good in scrims, and a lot of that has to be Koldamenta being the cement to really just bring this team together.
Yeah, and I think it is kind of interesting to parallel the story, because at Copenhagen, Trex was that brand new young player coming in. Koldo was trying to like get him into a place where he could compete well at that tournament. He popped off, did amazing, and now it's going to be the same thing here with Wolfen coming into his very first LAN. So I think a lot of pressure is on Kolda to mold these strong pieces into a great team.
And speaking of Koldamenta, he is with Shaydos and Brandon Sideshow as well right now for a quick catch-up before lock-in. Check this out.
Hey, Brandon Sideshow here, joined by a couple of players from Koi. It is Shaydos and Koldamenta joining us here for an interview. First of all, thank you very much for sitting down with us. And the first question that I want to ask you is, we saw a tweet right before the tournament began from iBay, boss, co-founder, you know, streamer extraordinaire. And I got a quote here. He said, "Warning, Caparina. Warning, Carnival." Does he have some reason to be worried about, you know, what you lot are going to be getting up to while you're here?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I think he heard me saying on a stream last night, because I was on the stream live with the Sergio Ferra. He's like one of the content creators for Koi. Saying that I tried the Caipirinha, but only once, you know?
Right.
I said it was pretty strong, and I think he heard it, and that's why he said on Twitter afterwards.
Yeah, he was very determined that you guys are going to be try hard in the practice, try hard when it comes out on stage. I saw your follow-up tweet as well saying, "My boss is just my dad."
Yeah. That's like a Spanish thing to say, you know? Like my boss is like my boss, you know, like my father, yeah.
So I was listening to a recent interview with Starkzo, and he was explaining, this was a couple of weeks ago, that your team was still experimenting with what roles you were going to play, that kind of thing as well. Is this going to just end up being like a sub-goal or a poll or something that you just come in, you roll the dice, see what happens with the roles? Or have you actually got them cemented heading into the event now?
You want to answer?
In my opinion, I cannot answer on this question because we will see on Soundpower if we playing good on these roles. We will keep this. If not, we will change. So
right. Because you do have a very flexible team as well. Almost every player
with crowd on a couple tournaments, local tournaments. So I think it's fine for me.
Nice. Okay.
and
to adapt our style to theirs. So now might be different, but I heard they actually like have like kind of like the same style or something. So I think it's 50-50 at this point.
Do you think it gives you a bit of an edge in the tournament, the fact that your roster's coming together, all different pieces? pieces, and you know, there's not much footage really for any sort of teams. Do you feel like that gives you an advantage in the event?
Probably. But I mean, there is a core though, like Barbara, coach.
Thanks.
Oh, Josh and Bren, you tried your best. You tried your best. Now, I want to quickly address Shaydos real quick because I feel a little bit emotional. One of the Gambit boys returning to the stage. He was one of the most popular players, you know, not just in Europe, in the world as well. And Mimi, I know the roster, a lot of unknown, but he's won a trophy.
Yeah, he has, and he was fantastic individually when he did that. It felt like they just kind of fell off the face of a cliff in 2022 during that mech era, but now a good portion of that roster is back in action. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just, we know what these players are capable of. Can it all come together? We didn't garner too much from the interview just because they're just being so tight-lipped about it, but we'll have to wait and see if they can put it up on stage. But for now, their opposition and energy.
Yeah, this is not the unknown anymore, Mimi. It's the return of Optic 2.0.
Yes, that it is, but they've lost two players that I think a lot consider their two best. No more Marv or Ye for this roster, and that's really where the questions start with NRG.
It's tough. I mean, losing Ye in pretty much any capacity sounds like a terrible situation for the side of energy, but getting Artis is about as close as a one-to-one replacement. As you could possibly get. Artis was absolutely insane last year for FPX. His performances against some of the best teams in the world, he was always a constant, putting up aces, putting up some of the craziest clutches that we have ever seen in Valorant. So I still have to put a lot of stock in energy because their firepower, while they are lacking Marv, they are lacking Ye, it's still so strong.
Yeah, I mean, we have to talk about this comparison of Artis and Ye because FNS, in the press conference, he put a lot of that onto himself. He was like, we need to set Artis up. But in the end, Mimi, the lock-in, and the results are in, and you guys picked, drum roll. Oh, it was Americas.
So
but just, wait, EMEA came third?
Hey, look, we got a lot of countries now from Pacific that are joining in. There's a lot of fans out there from regions like Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, etc. So they're coming out, they're representing, that's good, but as we anticipated, the LATAM, the Brazilians, the Americans, it was just too much.
That's kind of what's exciting for me about like this new league format in general, is that all of these teams, all these kind of regions that were so fractured before are now like very much together into like one set of teams to cheer for. So it's going to be really exciting to see that, especially with that big Pacific fan base.
Yeah, I mean, to the 1.8% of the people that voted China because they're going to look really big brained if it does happen.
Do a poll on Weibo and see what the results look like.
It's going to be very, very different there. But just before we get into everything else, I want to quickly talk about this NRG